Well, I'm back from now. That was a really overwhelming weekend. I liked being able to talk to other activists. I wish I had more opportunities for that, but financial and physical limitations of being disabled and poor kind of limit how much I can participate physically in things, which is, I think, why online activism is really important for people who are disabled. And if people who are poor are able to get online and participate, then that's great. But a lot of times that's not the case. I have noticed that, I'm feeling really, really overwhelmed right now. I remember when I first read about panic attacks, I'd heard about panic attacks and I thought, oh, I have those. And then I read that they last for about 10 to 20 minutes. I was like, no, that's not what I have. Because when I feel overwhelmed and overloaded, it can last for days, weeks, even months. I can feel this elevated level of overwhelming panic, and I know that's something that comes from the trauma, as well as the foreshortened sense of future. And since the hearing date was announced for August 23rd, my foreshortened sense of future, it's like August 23rd, I don't know what's going to happen on that day. But I know that no matter what happens on that day, I don't know, it's going to be really one of the most influential days of my life, and I've done everything that I can, but I don't have a lot of power. I've done everything I can to get people who've worked with me to be there on the hearing day, and I work with my advocate, and I've done all the things that I can possibly do, but I know that still I don't have I don't really know how things are going to go. So that's overwhelming, and I find that even things that I was able to do before are even more challenging. Like, I have to renew my food and nutrition services, my food stamps. I have to renew that, and just looking at that, like, I just filled with panic. I mean, every time I do this, I do have that like little fear that for some reason beyond my comprehension, beyond my control, there's going to be some sort of legislation that passes and they're going to say, oh, no, you can't have food stamps anymore. And that will be absolutely devastating to me. And that's really, really frustrating and frightening, especially when I get these in the mail every 3 months. And it reminds me that, food is not a guarantee for me. So, but I notice like a whole lot more anxiety and fear and terror and things about that because I've got all of that to deal with. And when I came back to the RV after leaving alone for the weekend, I noticed there was definite smell of mildew and the tanks really needed maintenance. And yet on top of that, like I have like my laundry is overflowing and I need to do that. And I need to arrange that. And I'm writing an article for our alternate routes for their July news, and I've been working with someone on this, but it needs to be redrafted, and that just feels like way beyond my capacity to do right now, beyond my capacity to focus. And what the good things that came out of now were, being in touch with other feminists and activists, and I, got a lot of juice out of that. And I finished some blog posts that felt like they had been germinating long enough. I just haven't posted them yet. One thing that's also that I'm also struggling with right now is there are a lot of vlog posts, videos that I want to do that I'm working on. But even though my computer came bundled with iMovie, and I know that's like really lucky that I have a computer and that I have iMovie, the program and the computer were not really made for each other. And when iMovie is open, nothing else can be open, and yet sometimes it still crashes. So there are videos that I'm working on that really I've invested a lot of time and effort and energy into, but that are bottlenecking because I can't get them finished because it takes so much time and so much energy because my computer is like going through molasses and I have to have everything else closed, so I can't be doing anything except editing. And that's just one more limitation on top of like the difficulty focusing and staying calm and staying focused and dealing with that. And then, like, suddenly something comes up and I need to do it for the advocate's office, or You know, just all my regular visits for healthcare, for dental care, and then regular things for the food stamps, so it's just everything seems to take more out of me than before. But I know that blogging and vlogging has been something that's been really important to me, especially right now with my hearing date coming up. There's not a lot of sources of comfort and release and relief that I get. And one of the things that I find comforting is actually being able to speak out about what I'm going through right now and share what I'm going through. And both videos and blog posts are important to me in that. They're just things that make even those things hard for me. Because a lot of the things that I was doing before to take care of myself and give myself some relief are now not working anymore, because it's a whole new ball game now that I know that August 23rd stuff's going to change. I try to focus a lot on the things that, other things in my life, like the Now conference and the blog posts and vlog posts that I want to make. But it's really easy for me to be overwhelmed and for it to feel like someone shoving a broom handle in the spokes of my bicycle wheel, and then I just go flying. And all of a sudden I'm like in this whole panic mode. I don't know how long that's going to last. I have so many things that I have to do, and this is one of those times where I really wish that I had someone that I could count on to help me with these things. In the past, community support teams have been able to do that, but in North Carolina I can only have that support for 6 months at a time, and then it's another 6 months before I can apply again for a community support team support. And that's cut down seriously from a few years ago, what it was, from what I've heard. And it's really hard, especially on people who are dealing with overwhelming life challenges like me. And in the past, I have found friends that they've said that I could rely on them and I could trust them, and I've wound up in some really bad and traumatic situations for that. And it doesn't leave my mind that no matter who I meet now, I'm meeting them on not an equal level. Like, no one I meet is going to be on an equal power level with me, and a lot of people are not even willing to have the discussion about how it isn't, an equal relationship, and the importance, the absolute crucial importance of me having boundaries and being able to set limits, and that being able to be okay, because a lot of times that's where things fall apart. Is they want to take care of me, but it's not okay for me to say no. And I don't find that out until after I say no. I really hate that, but that is the reality that I've lived with, and it's re-traumatizing, and it means that sort of the dilemma of dependency is the title of a book that I heard over the weekend, but it only refers to aging people who are then having to rely on younger caregivers, whether in their own family or someone else's. And for me, never really been able to count on support except from my now dead husband, and even that, the fact that he died, kind of brings it home to me that I can't count on, even if I have any kind of support, like at the moment, it could be just yanked away at any moment. And that also adds to the foreshortened sense of future and my inability to sort of like think ahead and plan ahead. I was asked, are you going to come to Now next year? And I'm like, I don't even know if next year exists. Like when they ask the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm like, I don't. I've never been able to. I've been traumatized my entire life. I don't understand 5 years from now. I don't understand 1 year from now. And right now, I don't even see my next birthday because it's on the other side of August 23rd. That's really scary. And that makes everything harder when I'm scared all the time. Even if I'm focusing on something else, it feels like the fear is just hanging out behind me in the shadows and stalking everything I do, so that if I stop, if I look back, then I'm dead. It'll catch me, and oh God, I know this is so like fractious and disjointed, and probably feels like a big sort of emotion dump on you. And sorry for that if this is affecting you that way, but I do feel like having an outlet and having my voice are really important to me, especially now, because I don't know what's going to happen in 2 months. I don't know what's going to happen to me. So it feels like even more vital for me to have my voice and to speak out, to use my blog and my vlog. And I'll do what I can with what I've got, which is what I've always done. Anyway, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.